Xiao Tian, thinking he was already carefree with 2 empresses, felt he was far behind after hearing about the exploits of the human emperor. The human emperor married 3,000 beautiful women, and each of them had dozens of descendants. Long Qiudao explained that in that era, the human race was declining, and the human emperor intended to preserve powerful bloodlines. But the results turned out surprisingly well. Xiao Tian and the others felt awkward, realizing that the biggest obstacle now was the human emperor's prolific nature. Beside them, Long Qiudao kept slapping his head in self-blame, regretting that some things had become unclear due to the passage of time. Xiao Tian looked at Long Qiudao's expression and joked, "Even if you smash your head, you won't remember." At this point, Zhong Yangming spoke again with a serious expression, stating that finding the emperor and empress was crucial. However, the imminent collapse of the protective domain raised concerns about the resettlement of the people. Zi Ruoyan suggested fitting everyone into the war furnace, but Luo Fengnai argued against it, citing space constraints and overcrowding. Long Qiudao mumbled to himself that the Saint Dragon's relic formed its own world inside, suggesting that it could be used to evacuate the people. But the time was running out. Thinking about this, Long Qiudao looked up at the sky, estimating that the world would shatter in a few days. Suddenly, Xiao Tian slapped his thigh, stood up, and said, "I have a solution." Zi Ruoyan frowned slightly, cautioning, "Your injuries may not have fully recovered. Don't use self-harm as a means of action." Hearing the empress's concern, Xiao Tian smiled and teased, "Your Majesty is worried about me again?" Zi Ruoyan hesitated, glancing at the women nearby. Luo Fengnai quickly added, "The empress is only concerned about the people." Zi Ruoyan held Luo Fengnai tightly and earnestly said, "I'm not worried, I just can't bear to." Xiao Tian felt somewhat happy inside. He liked being playfully teased by the empresses. Then, Xiao Tian pointed to the old man beside him, saying that he was just giving an idea, and the main work had to be done by Long Qiudao. Zi Ruoyan quickly looked at Long Qiudao and expressed her sincere gratitude, requesting the senior to take care of Xiao Tian. Long Qiudao felt speechless but smiled, assuring Zi Ruoyan that he would make sure Prince Xiao doesn't cause trouble. Zi Ruoyan nodded, and finally, she reminded Xiao Tian once again. After bidding farewell to Xiao Tian and the others, specifically instructing Xiao Yuer to behave and not cause trouble around her mothers. Afterwards, with Long Qiudao, Xiao Tian left in a hurry. Only when Xiao Tian's figure was no longer visible, Zi Ruoyan finally let go of Luo Fengnai, then instructed Zhong Yangming to arrange for the people to pack their belongings. Nearby, Luo Fengnai was somewhat worried, unsure if Xiao Tian might face any danger. Zi Ruoyan shook her head in response to Luo Fengnai's question, expressing that Xiao Tian did not lie. If he said he wouldn't use forbidden techniques, then he wouldn't. Luo Fengnai began to imagine Xiao Tian's body's extraordinary strength. And the female Imperial Guard, Lao Yi, chimed in, mentioning that there were talents and treasures that could help break through limits and enhance potential. However, given Xiao Prince's current condition, further advancement might be challenging. There was a natural conflict between body cultivation and the laws of heaven and earth, preventing the comprehension of the laws of heaven and earth, which was why they couldn't advance. Unless a more powerful talent or treasure was found, there might be a chance to help him break through the limits again. Lao Yi's words prompted Luo Fengnai to pat her chest confidently, promising to search for such treasures for Xiao Tian once she broke through to level 20. Zi Ruoyan lightly blew on her tea and took a sip, saying, "I'm worried that if there are no results, I'll get dragged into it." Luo Fengnai squinted at Zi Ruoyan, gritting her teeth. "Can't you stop saying that?" Zi Ruoyan put down her teacup, turned her head to look at Luo Fengnai, and asked, "Say what?" This statement angered Luo Fengnai, and the 2 empresses began fighting in the front yard. One side moved hands like swords while the other kicked like blades. And Xiao Yuer, wearing a bitter expression, wondered how his father disciplined the two empresses. Lu Yan stood silently by the yard gate, commenting, "Your Majesty's combat skills are becoming more exquisite." Zhong Ling, still standing in the corner, continued to watch the two empresses fight, amused.